Welcome back, everyone, to Myth Machine. This is Werewolf, the apocalypse raging across New York. And how have we been raging over the last few sessions? A lot, I think. A lot of rage points spent, a lot of moments of losing the wolf. That's raging, isn't it? Like, when you... It was raging until you lost the... Anyway. This show is rated R for rough, also mental health issues, mature themes.
And Ragabash.
Oh, yeah, Ragabash, don't forget. And, yeah, we're playing Rage Across New York, the first source book that was published or city book, I should say, that was published for Werewolf the Apocalypse. First edition. This is edgy, early 1990s stuff, y'all. That's what it is. Who's with us this time?
Yes, hello. I'm Domi, or Dominic, any pronouns. I'm playing her human side. It's called Bryce. You might know her as Femis, the Black Fury Philodox, the protector of the weak. At least she attempts to stand up for the weak. Now, having just come down from the battle, having taken a massive scalpel to all of the body.
Yeah.
I'm El Duende, pronouns any all. I am playing as Jake Stromfeld, the Get of Fenris Room.
I'm Jan. I'm playing Skidders in Shadows, aka Paul McCohen, aka Otis the Bonar Ragback.
Alright. Glad we're doing it out of order, perfectly in character for the Ragabash.
Wait, I'm after you.
No, that's in order.
Genji.
Hello, I am Ender, pronouns he, him. I am playing Miranda Blackpool, who goes by Weavewalker, the current pack leader and Theurge of the Glasswalkers.
I'm Roger, I'm playing Miles Stormspeaker Lincoln, Glasswalker Galliard, New York Bohemian, and it was currently running on empty with half a willpower point left and is about to go into a rage if he can't control himself. He's already in a rage, it's just a question of whether he attacks his own side or not.
Alright then. I might be able to rules lawyer your way into getting 2 willpower points.
No, if Roger wants to rule his lawyer, let him rule his lawyer. But
Alright then.
or if he asks you for suggestions, but
Alright then. I do have a suggestion.
What is your suggestion?
Alright. So you do heal 1 aggravated for doing something your patron spirit would like. And now, considering the fact that Roger did kill the fuck out of that Bane and help us cleanse this place, which is very weavery, I feel like your patron spirit would be pretty happy with what you've done.
It's not the patron spirit, it's the renown according to your tribe. So it should be something wisdom related.
Oh, you're fucked then.
Yeah, unfortunately, while you're in a rage, you don't really do many mental checks. If he was going to repair a toaster that was vitally important to people's health, that would probably qualify, but right now, if he looks at something that's too sparky and attacks it, he's going to lose more willpower.
But I can give him a superficial willpower point back just for the gratification of defeating the huge Bane, which helps, right? A little bit.
Does that actually make it worse? Because if he'd run out of willpower completely, he'd have just collapsed and wouldn't have been a danger anymore. Now he actually has more him if he does attack everybody else.
Yeah, now you've got 2 points of danger. Instead of lasting 1 round, you'll last 2. I'm sure that won't threaten us.
Yeah, so what happened last time? You were in the trenches, weren't you? Fighting for Gaia against worm infestations in New York, specifically at the Morningside Rehabilitation Institute for both adults and minors. Your attack so far has mostly been through the Umbra, destroying several Fomori, several Banes. It was literally a Hellraiser house, wasn't it? As far as you're concerned, so far. And it has ended up in a secret basement compartment underneath this Rehabilitation Institute, where you confronted a major Bane and managed to wallop it actually quite quickly after all. Though there was risk for life and limb, definitely. Hi, Themis. Survived with a nice willpower reroll there. Clutching a crit to not get absolutely decapitated in a one hit by a giant scalpel. And while all this was going on, Weavewalker conducted a ritual of abjuration, cleansing the place. And Stormspeaker is presently a frenzying Krynos. And even as the environment around you, the umbral environment around you, is healing, look at how much better things look like now. It's not completely infected by the Umbra anymore, just by the worm anymore. Just scars of that infection remains thanks to Weavewalker's intervention. But Stormspeaker is still in Krynos shape and frenzying, aren't you?
What do I have to roll to try and drop out of the frenzy? Is it willpower?
Yes, indeed.
Difficult.
And I'd forgotten I was in Krynos, so this is even worse if I've lost control.
It's gonna be fine.
Is it harder difficulty if you're max rage? Or is that just something that's automatic?
That's a good question, isn't it? Let's see. Where did I go with
I
that?
don't think you'd be frenzying if you weren't max rage, would you?
Oh yeah, no, because I guess it must factor in because you can't frenzy without max rage. No, but you can go into Krynos without being max.
Yeah, no, the reason you were frenzied was because you would not spend willpower points to hold the frenzy away while Krynos. You went actively into Krynos to go frenzy, and that's what happens when you're not spending willpower to avoid the frenzy in Krynos. So that's what happened here. But
I've failed my willpower roll, but can I willpower reroll?
willpower reroll, a willpower roll?
Yeah, you should.
I'm not
It
sure.
says it's an option, but I'm not sure if that's like something they didn't take out of the programming, or if it is something I legitimately have the right to do.
Leaving a frenzy. The player can make a willpower test of difficulty 2 to leave frenzy. The frenzy resumes until no one but the frenzying Garou is left standing. Their rage drops to 0, or the scene ends.
I don't think the scene can end until we deal with Stormspeaker. We're not going to medicate that out.
Okay, it's up to the SD then.
So, yeah, we have a frenzying Stormspeaker. And...
Yeah, no, because it's difficulty 2 to get out of this.
Yeah, you can't get out of the frenzy right now.
I can't.
Just
I can't do anything.
No, you will attack everything and everyone around you.
I guess it's time for some brawling rolls.
Okay,
I have
since
a
we have
plan.
agreed to do it the initiative way, haven't we? Because it's easier to keep track of that. For us, at least. I find it easier.
Oh, thank God, he has terrible roll.
How do you knock somebody out in the Umbra?
I think we're just gonna hold you down. Just
Yeah.
Holding him down won't break the frenzy.
feel like we can
It
give him a
will
little win, you know?
eventually. It is a remedy. If you can hold him down until he chills, there is a time limit on the frenzy. You can't go frenzy forever. Though I would argue that initially the frenzy gets worse because you don't want to be held down. But that doesn't have any mechanical effect. As
Could
such.
the mother's touch have a psychological effect as well as a physical?
Unfortunately,
There
not.
is a different power that can end frenzy.
Yeah. Weavewalker, Stormspeaker, standing atop of the remains of the Bane that are even now dissolving into the ether of the Umbra, like so much ash being dissolved, and Stormspeaker is not calming down. What do you want to do?
Shit, I forgot. I've got Dream Spirit. Bear Spirit. I guess I can see that this is about to be a big problem, so I am gonna take like a step or two away.
That makes sense.
Taking
Yeah.
Optinode with me.
Uh-huh.
And I guess I might try to do a spirit summoning. Start that. Specifically a Lunar Spirit in this basement.
You're cooked.
Because they're the only spirits I know that can directly interact with rage and take it away.
That could
We'll
work.
get Optinode to talk nerd shit to Miles, see if that calms him down.
Right now, I'm pretty sure you're like, there's just saliva and guts in your mouth, and
Yeah.
you're just like vibrating with violent energy. I'm not gonna send Optinode anywhere near you right now.
Skidders, is there anything you want to do?
I'm going to.
If we all jump him, we can restrain him long enough, I feel like.
Probably, honestly, yeah.
I'm going to go in the opposite direction to Weave Walker, and I'm going to try to catch Stormspeaker's attention. Be like, hey, over here!
All right. Let's go. Hey, over here. I think that will probably work pretty much automatically, won't it? Because it's not like Stormspeaker can make... Wait a minute, let's see now. You become immune to health-based penalties, resisting mental gifts and gift-like effects, can't use gifts, may not use willpower in any way, such as re-rolling dice, does not perform defensive acts, does attempt to regenerate health, making raid checks as normal to do so. If no one is attacking... Yeah, that's about it. Okay.
So we could get you to exhaust your rage by hurting you and then letting you recover. But that's pretty risky.
I think the safest bet to do this is to just hold him down for long enough until he exhausts himself. And that takes a scene. However long that is, which is
I was going to
more
try
than
to get
30
chase-
seconds probably, but probably not 5 hours. Anyway, Skidders, I'm going to declare that you will distract Stormspeaker because Stormspeaker cannot really... Yeah. Stormspeaker is big and dumb right now.
Alright.
True
I'm going
strike.
to head up and try and restrain Stormspeaker.
Stormspeaker will resist this in every shape and form and with all his ability.
Okay. Oh,
Remember, he doesn't defend. He just attacks.
Yep.
I know.
Fuck, didn't Jake lose the wolf? So he's in human form wrestling
Yep.
with a full war form Krynos.
Yep.
Yep. And Jake, as he charges Stormspeaker, is fuck me.
Yep. That
Okay, so
actually
what
makes
do I
sense.
roll? Do I roll something?
Oh, absolutely. You
You
should.
roll full attack.
Full attack on Jake. You're just gonna harm him really hard. Which in this case means what you usually do, right? A bite. Just aggravated stuff.
Yep.
Oh.
Though, you know what? We can actually rule here because we have True Strike has the momentum, right? So clearly, True Strike dives on in human form on Stormspeaker, the Krynos form, and with 8 successes, I'm gonna say because Stormspeaker isn't defending himself per se, he will try to bite your face off, True Strike, but he will not try to bob and weave and duck under you.
Yeah, I'm just trying to jump on his back and try and get him in a chokehold, basically.
Yeah, so with 8 successes, I'm going to say he's definitely restrained. So the question now comes to whether Stormspeaker can break himself out of that, which I'm going to count as, I guess, a difficulty 8 strength check or something? Or strength athletics check or something? Because
So I'm not doing the bite.
Terrible at athletics.
I'm not doing the bite.
What? It makes sense for you to do the bite.
it makes sense to try to do the bite, but I would also say that with 8 successes, how is he going to get to him with the bite? If 8 successes illustrates how well True Strike is grappling Stormspeaker, I feel like it's going to be one of these grapples from behind where you come up underneath the arms and around the neck and just holds down his head. So Stormspeaker has his 2 arms flailing and can't really catch True Strike behind him. And
this could all be resolved if Stormspeaker just rolls, and then we see whether 8 successes was even enough to do it.
Yep.
No willpower reroll for you. Fuck yeah!
Yeah.
Yep. So there we have it. I think 8 successes. Even with the 3 to oppose, there's still 5 left over, which is more than enough. It's going to take a while for Stormspeaker to get out of this frenzy.
And by the way, Themis, you should probably switch back to a different form since that makes sense.
Yes, I think Themis is gonna get a good grasp just first in Krynos form before she goes to Glabro instead.
Okay.
Yeah.
But if we're rolling this as we are just successful, I'm not gonna roll.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is pretty... He's cooked.
Indeed. You can, Stormspeaker, you can use your rage to try to you don't have any, you only have a 1 aggravated health level at this point.
You should probably still regenerate that.
So, a scene will pass, and Stormspeaker will get out of his frenzy thanks to his pack mates. So you have to choose Homid or Lupus, basically. So you were in frenzy.
Homid. So what? I've gone all the way down and lost the wolf coming out of this rage.
Yeah.
We are at a new scene in the Umbra, my friends. And everything is quiet around you at the moment, but again, it's a willpower or an aggravated health level because it's a
I'll
new
take the
scene.
health.
Alright then, I already did it. I'm at 2 superficial now.
Like the
Only,
willpower.
I already took it.
Everything is quiet.
Would you
I'll
say
take the
aggravated health?
Yep.
Okay.
I'll take the aggravated health.
Ugh, you've been in here for a long time now.
I think Themis will just help stabilize Stormspeaker
If-
as he comes down from the transformation.
Is Themis still in?
She has to change to Glabro.
Okay, somebody let's get the hell out of here. We're in the basement, so let's go up 1 floor and just go out the front door.
Sounds good.
Although, presumably all the emergency responders will be rushing in now. If we see any Banes on them, if anybody still has fight left in them, should just take out the Banes.
Okay.
And if any of Femoris and responders
You're
start
a
dropping
buddy.
dead outside, this will just turn into the ultimate urban legend of New York.
I didn't know that his unconscious body could speak so much.
What? He's not unconscious.
He dropped out of rage, but he didn't
Oh,
Yeah.
go unconscious.
Yeah, he dropped out of rage, but he's very tired. Like, I'm thinking he's panting a lot, but he's not unconscious.
All
Look,
right, then.
if we see people with Banes, Jake can deal with them. The rest of us,
Yeah,
We'll be
yeah.
walking.
I think Tavis does the thing like Gordon Ramsay does when he's annoyed at someone. She puts both hands at the side of Stormspeaker's face and goes,
Idiot
I like the
sandwich.
enthusiasm, but I think most of us need to rest.
The thing is, if you stay in the Umbra to fight more Banes, on Fomori or otherwise, that's going to be another scene, isn't it? So
No,
that means
yeah,
more
yeah.
aggravated or willpower loss for you.
Yeah, let's just get out of here, man. We don't have time for this shit.
The
Stormspeaker.
clock is ticking for your bodies. You've been spending hours in here by now. Probably longer
Can you
than
walk,
you've ever been in the
Stormspeaker?
Umbra.
Can you walk, Stormspeaker?
And as Miles says, yeah, I can walk, stands up, and immediately staggers backwards into Themis.
Okay.
I'll carry him.
Just because
Hey,
she's the
um,
only one who could do it right now.
Oh.
Just looking into the secret lab. Is there any active people trapped in there?
It's a new scene and you're looking into the lab, which means it's for free, isn't it?
Because we're still in that scene, and this is just me using my eyes.
Oh, like, this is in the scene when Stormspeaker is calming down? Very well.
Why not?
Why not? Yeah, that's how we'd have to manage. Yeah, everything is fluffy in 5th edition. It's very hand-wavy. But, yes, so my sort of autistic, need more structure mind likes the Free League time spaces better. But anyway, there is nobody down here when you're looking out through the Umbra while Stormspeaker is calming down. You can see silent alarm switch going off. It's like a flashing light. Of course, the lab looks pretty horrifying in the real world too, not surprisingly. It has a hospital bed or chair function with restraints on it, including for the head. Some tools there that may or may not be for surgical use, and certainly a medicine cabinet that is filled syringes, absolutely. Biohazard disposal function, of course, and a very thick metal door. These walls are thick. If anyone was screaming down here, you doubt anybody upstairs would have heard it.
Okay, so there's just one door into this place, and that's the metal door.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Though I have
Just
a
making sure
feeling
there wasn't,
that
like,
the structural integrity of the ceiling is about to. There might be a leak from some pipes that have been affected by certain umbral activities.
Fair enough. Yeah.
I did have a question. Is the spiral hair in the scene, or is that just like fluff for the...
It's part of Weavewalker's abjuration, including making arcane signs to put away the worm. Maybe it's a worm spiral in reverse too, a mirrored,
Just
like
checking for any
Satanists do
spirals, you never know.
an inverted cross. You can do inverted spiral to I don't know. I was just yeah.
No, it's fine. It's a good question.
It
So
is
it's
a
like,
good
oh, is there a black spiral in this scene?
It is not.
It's
It is
my
not a
lore
black
sheet.
spiral. It is
Must
not
ask.
the black spiral.
Oh, wait a minute. Are we
Themis will know the glyph for the black spiral. There is no black spiral here.
In that case, Weavewalker's happy to do the ritual to get everyone out of here.
Wait, everyone out of here in the building. Let's get out.
Not
this building
into this
first.
room, outside.
Yeah. Okay.
We're all
Out of
getting
here is in
ourselves
the Umbra.
out. On the outside. How long has it been since you last were outside this place? It feels like years, doesn't it? Almost.
According to the clock, it's been 3 hours and 15 minutes.
But it feels longer, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're gonna get upstairs, do the ritual. Because it is a rite, it
we need
takes
to be
time.
fully out of
doesn't it?
this. We need to be fully out of this entire region, this whole building and courtyard. We need to be across the road at least, because the
Yeah.
emergency services are responding to a mass casualty event. We can't just suddenly appear.
I don't think there's going to be a mass casualty event, is there? Only the doctor's dead.
Nope.
No, we killed two other
three,
Fomori.
at least 3 people dead, because you killed a couple of other.
Oh, 3 Fomori, yep.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
that,
three
I
people
think
just
that
dropped dead. The alarms went off. This
Yeah.
shit is serious. They are calling 911.
Oh
yeah, but they've got no context about how 3 people have just dropped dead simultaneously with no wounds on them.
with no wounds on them. It's really weird and freaky. There's no sign. Obviously, there were no shots fired. Nobody could see any attackers.
There was the weird homeless guy.
Yeah, afterwards they're gonna talk about the weird homeless guy because some people saw him, but there's only 2 people who saw him.
That's enough to like. Oy.
Yeah,
So,
I think
and
we
if we get
we
all the way across
parked.
if we get across the street, like to wherever the Winnebago is, can we rematerialize back inside the Winnebago? But there isn't. It doesn't exist in the spirit world. We just be stood on the street. So if we tried to go back there, would we just sort of Philadelphia experiment, melt ourselves into the floor of the Winnebago?
I think the right stops that kind of thing from happening.
What?
You can't go. You don't get stuck in walls and stuff like that. That doesn't happen.
We're lucky that way.
Yes, you are. You're half spirit, so that's.
There's
part of the
enough
journey.
things killing werewolves. The rights should be safe.
Exactly.
Like, even this right hurts you, just differently.
Yeah, okay, we're gonna be in the Winnebago, and we're gonna hear the noises of the sirens of first responders. It's not gonna be a whole lot of sirens at this point. It's honestly gonna be a lot of just flashing lights from the emergency lights, because whoever needed to get quickly to the Institute got there some while ago. And at the wee hour of morning, you can see a lot of activity at the Institute because you could see the Institute from where the Winnebago was. You had a good look there. And yeah, you're inside your Winnebago. You can see a lot of uniformed cops. A lot, I should say. Say 2 or 3 patrol cars and
So roughly around
cop
4
shops.
to 6.
Yeah,
cops.
yeah. There's no shots fired, and the only thing we have right now is when they get around to talk to those particular guards, 2 witnesses speaking about a weird homeless guy who said that he was part of the company somehow and was doing some kind of drill for the company. So, to test security and whatnot. So, yeah, and any paramedics would have left by now because they're not going to stick around in the area to do resuscitation attempts. They're going to haul the patients into the ambulances and get them away to hospitals for all the serious equipment you need to get someone back when they have flatlined. Which we know is not going to work for them but they don't, so... That is the situation. You have poked the hornet's nest in the Rehabilitation Institute, but they don't really know what has been going on, do they? There might be a sort of one of the cop cars might be a civilian one with that attachable light, local detective coming to check the scene, what have you. The detective on watch coming to check the scene and coordinate the response because they need someone to coordinate the cops. I think that would be about it. Don't know that any news vans are out here because 3 heart attacks is not really newsworthy. If there were shots fired, there would be news vans probably, but...
Also, if they were patients, it may be newsworthy.
Also, if the dead people were patients, that would be newsworthy indeed.
And as soon as we get back to the Winnebago, Miles just grabs a roll of dental floss and a massive bottle of mouthwash and just disappears into the bathroom.
Yeah,
That's
Miranda
legit.
does her little weaving drawing and pulls everyone back out of the Umbra before they take further damage.
That whole description was you having gotten out of the Umbra, of course.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
In that
So-
case, before she turns back to Hamid, Bryce will heal. Yes. Another one.
Huh?
Oh, it's
Jake will just sit on the couch and just.
Everybody is exhausted.
Um,
Yeah.
Oh, fuck, God.
Miranda, can you cast some healing?
No. Just
Okay.
go to sleep.
Okay, you can go to sleep.
You've slept in the Winnebago before, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did the
Um,
whole road trip.
Oh, look. I'm just back from a week away on this thing. There's no way my old lady's going to be happy if I spend another night away. I'm going to have to go back, okay?
Yeah, same. Not in the same way, but gonna go back to my folks before they worry.
I'm just gonna crash here for the night.
Is that okay? We're done here now, right? You guys are okay for the rest of the night here? If you're going to sleep? We can meet up tomorrow?
Sure.
Sure.
Okay.
Alright.
You just see Miles's hand come out of the bathroom door in a thumbs up sign.
Oh god. She's gonna walk over and she's like, okay, how are you?
How is
And
Miles?
And so, how does these aggravated damage from the Umbra? It's like weird internal damage. So, like Miles is like, my pancreas.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
So
I guess.
specific.
My kidneys.
My everything hurts. It's yeah. I have to imagine it's almost like radiation poisoning in a way.
Like, if it is... I'm imagining that it's like your gallbladder, because that's really sore, and it can, like, completely disable you. Oh.
Yeah. But I like to
I think-
imagine like the longer you stay in there, like you can like taste the blood in your mouth.
Yeah, like the rest of you have got pretty well fucked up by the radiation of the Umbra. It looks like Miranda's just had a bad, like she spent a bit too long in the sun. Like she's just got a bit of a bad sunburn.
Yeah, and maybe a bit of a hangover. She got a little bit too drunk in the middle of the day in Florida, on a Florida beach.
Sure. Yes, okay. She doesn't have any medicine, so she can't really diagnose. I think she'll just try. She won't. There's no actual skill or knowledge involved. She's just gonna try and examine you just to see whether you're actually dying. Nah, you're good. Just sleep it off. Have some water. She fishes out some water.
A character with medicine can convert aggravated damage on the health track to superficial damage. Succeed with a simple test of intelligence plus medicine. Difficulty equals the total aggravated damage sustained by the patient. Attempts to heal oneself adds +1 to the difficulty. The maximum points of aggravated damage that a character convert is half that character's medicine rating rounded up. It happens over the course of the night.
Also, I can help.
Yeah. Depending on how much aggravated that your patient has sustained.
The Storm
Okay.
Speaker had 2 aggravated. And I got 2 on my roll.
There we go. That is a success.
So you heal 1 from my efforts and 1 from natural healing. Is that how that works?
Yeah, hospitalization avoids the need for more dice rolls, but injuries require the patient's total aggravated damage in weeks to heal fully. So, yeah, that's basically it. So, it might.
What does that
That means that Stormspeaker will have healed 1 aggravated for now.
So is it just 1 aggravated drops to superficial, or is
Yep.
it completely?
Yeah, But the superficial part is going to heal later in the day, like by noon. It takes like a scene or something to heal superficial, if I recall correctly. Enough time, if the storyteller determines enough time has passed his injury, that they'd have time to recover, especially if they grew. So, yeah. If you don't...
You know how some injuries have a distinctive taste or smell? If you taste like copper or smell burning hair or stuff like that, it's like a heart attack or a stroke kind of thing.
Something
and
like that,
people
yes. It's a strain on
irradiate.
the body. I think it stresses on the body. You're feeling the after effects of too much adrenaline, aching bodies from, what do you call that acid in English?
Lactic? No.
Yes, that's the one. And cramps, probably. People who have overexerted themselves running marathons or being under too much stress at work. You could have a heartburn, that sort of thing. That's how I would probably interpret it.
Yeah. Jake is too tired to even be angry at this point. Oy.
Miles can't be angry because he literally has no rage left.
You're past exhaustion.
Yeah.
Miranda is going to try and find the way to sit down that aggravates the least amount of her injuries.
You good? Or
True Strike, Skidders, Themis. We know that the Storm Speaker and Weave Walker are tapped out for this scene and just ow, ow. Keeping sending little signals over the, like, you did so well, congratulations, job well done. There's a lot of... Sorry, Dummy, what was that?
Themis, skateboard away.
Skateboard away.
Back home.
Amazing.
I'm going to try something before I go back. You said there was a detective, right?
There's one of the sort of plain unmarked cars is what it's called, isn't it?
Oh, do I have enough stealth and larceny to reverse pickpocket a note into his pocket?
Sure. You're going to the scene while the others are doing the thing? Let's go.
Yep.
All right. So you're going to back to the rehab institute, basically.
Yeah.
And you have a lot of that. I'm totally gonna allow you to do that.
And the note says
he's gonna be like a middle-aged fellow, fairly hefty, really. In his youth, he could have been a quarterback, but he's probably in his early to mid-40s by now, so all that youthful muscle some of that youthful muscle has been transferred into other substances in his body, but he looks a little bit like a brick.
Okay, so I'm going to slip the note, check the basement, there's more going on here than into his pocket. And pretend to be like a Lucky Lou. Like I'm in the area,
Yep. Yeah, he's there and talking to... I think he has a smoke in the corner of his mouth. It's lit. You can see the tobacco smoke in the air, as it were. Because this is 1991, and...
Non-detective.
Smoking is widespread at this point. All the adults, and if the people are in the 40s... a lot of them are smoking, because that's the boomer generation, right? This is when the boomer generation was running society, as it were. 20 years after Woodstock, when they were young and idealistic. So this fellow, you're going to find him... Where are you going to find him? Could be just about anywhere, couldn't it? It's a big building.
Oh, I thought you said he was outside still. If I saw him coming,
the car was outside. I didn't say he was outside. It's just...
Oh, okay, then I guess.
General...
You could just leave a note on the windscreen of his car.
Yeah,
Yeah, because I thought he was outside still. Sorry.
No, the car was outside. He is...
I'm going to go into his car and leave that. Where would you see it when you start a car?
Under the windscreen wiper?
Yeah, under the windscreen wiper. Leave a note. Check the basement. The place. There's more going on than the scene.
Very well. Yeah, that's not a problem.
Less cool than reverse pickpocketing, but safer because I don't want to be on the cameras. at more direct execution.
For sure. True Strike, while Skidders is away doing sneaky things, what is True Strike doing?
Unless Weavewalker or Stormspeaker need anything, I'm just gonna pass out on the couch. Or whatever, or a seat, or whatever, man.
Very well.
Miles is just passed out on the other couch.
That actually makes sense. And Stormspeaker's... Ow. Your entire pack has run this way and that, Weavewalker.
That's fine. I think she's gonna drive the Winnebago just like a few blocks away, just so we're not across the street from whatever the police are doing.
That
And
makes
then
sense.
just park and rest.
And also pass out. Yeah. I think this is the perfect moment for people to fall asleep for a moment here and wake up refreshed and regain some willpower points for I don't know, what usually would be referred to as a new session, but in this case is you got a good night's sleep. Skidders is away to his girlfriend, isn't he?
Just how much willpower are we recovering? Like 1 point, or...
No, that's gonna be the usual full amount, so it's either composure or resolve, whichever is higher.
Got it. I got the willpower I lost previously.
And if you have acted according to your tribal down, you get 1 aggravated willpower back as well.
Did I do anything honorable?
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you act honorably?
That's what I was asking you.
Oh!
If it was up to me, I'd say everything I did is honorable.
Of course you would. In this case, I would probably say yes, because you have tried to protect patients in need, haven't you?
Yeah.
Vulnerable
Mine-
populations.
Would you say getting a werewolf in Krenos form into a chokehold is glorious?
No, but I would say helping to slay an enormous bane, like what you did over the whole night, was very good, Fenris.
Alright then.
So, yes, have an aggravated willpower back.
How this willpower recovery works, since I've got 4 aggravated and no superficial, does that mean I just don't get anything back?
That's correct, unless you have acted according to your renown. At the end of each session, you've acted according to your tribe's associated renown, you heal 1 level of aggravated willpower damage.
What exactly is the Glasswalker renown?
Wisdom, I think? Let me double check, but if I recall correctly, it's...
And you have not acted wise, my friend.
No, that was the Gale Stalkers. Sorry. Glasswalkers. Wisdom, yes.
For reference, do you think Skidders? Do you think Skidders would have left the paperwork with us?
Skidders, your pockets were bursting with paperwork.
Yeah, I'd have left them with you guys. I'd be like, this is what I recovered. You can look at them since...
That's great. It just means we've got stuff to look over and try to figure out how best to dismantle this operation.
When the game started, I didn't already heal the willpower.
That's fine.
Is this more willpower healing, or I'm confused?
No, this is just the... For those of you who didn't heal the willpower at the start of the session, as per Rock. Because we've had some discussions about how reasonable it is to pump up the willpower in the middle of a combat scene because we ended the session. I think the point which Ender made was like there should be reasonable rest between them and a dramatic lull in the action, if you will, and I can see that argument.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be like a sleep, but just like any reasonable, like, ratcheting down of tension.
Right, yeah. That is a very reasonable interpretation. Again, the rules are a little bit vague sometimes because they're leaning so heavily into the narrative format that there's a lot of go with the flow, whatever you feel. But I feel like that is a reasonable interpretation.
Would I have acted the...
In that case, when I fixed the thing, I am now
Wait
at
a minute,
2...
Domi was talking, El Duende.
Sorry.
Have I acted glorious?
Yes.
So I do heal a little bit. Yippee!
But that's for
I
aggravated
guess-
willpower damage, not superficial.
So it doesn't count at all for superficial?
No, it doesn't. Not according to Raw.
That is strange.
The rules as written is the willpower heals between sessions, superficial, whereas like the aggravated heals if you act according to your tribal renown. So yeah, at the beginning of a session you can remove a number of superficial levels up to your composure or resolve rating from their willpower track. So that's all it says about superficial willpower.
So
Healing.
would healing aggravated just not count at all if you have superficial? That's
What do
a
we
little-
think, table?
I think it makes sense that an aggravated would heal superficial if you didn't have aggravated, as long
Yeah.
as it doesn't work in reverse,
Yes.
because
Yeah,
that's a
exactly.
slippery slope.
Yep, that would be a slippery slope, absolutely. So yeah, why not? Also,
Yay.
I could just by storyteller fiat say you feel better in the morning because you've slept and everything. I won't do that often because that would also be a slippery slope. But okay, we are back outside. Some of you are back outside the Morningside clinic, but not directly outside it. You're in the same neighborhood, shall we say, in the morning. And that's going to be 3 of you. The rest of you all are in other parts of town, as it were. So I'll start with Truestack, Weavewalker, and Stormspeaker this morning. You're going to probably wake up earlier than you want to because, hey, it's rush hour. And I'm going to roll a die because I can. You're out of luck, aren't you? You're going to wake up in the morning to someone knocking on the Winnebago door, and it's a beat cop.
Oh, fuck.
It's fine.
It's a morning in New York City.
I'm guessing since this is Miles's actual cab van that he took the actual bed in it, which seems fair. I guess Weavewalker was probably by the door. Just try and wake up Miles, because this is technically his car. And he would have all of the paperwork and everything.
Yeah. This beat cop knocks on the door, asks for license and registration.
Do that if you're driving. Oh wait, I'm not there.
You're not there.
But yeah, it's just because I'm pretty sure at this point Weavewalker does look pretty bruised. Because she's still got 2 aggravated and 2 superficial health damage.
Ow. The superficial will
I-
be healed overnight, actually.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. The aggravated, not so much.
She's just gonna shake up Miles, just say,
Your head
Cops
is
here.
in the complete bedhead, as it were. And the guy was like, hey, what are you doing here? You can't park here. What the hell? You're in some kind of residential area. You didn't pay too much attention. Your heads were all a bit woozy by the time you fell asleep from the night's exercises. What?
Miles is just going to lean into the terrible way he looks, and we'll just be like, yeah, sorry, officer, we wasn't in a fit state to drive anywhere. We just needed somewhere to sleep. Is there a good diner around here? I really need some grease and caffeine right now. He's just looking as awful as he possibly can look.
Yeah, the beat cop will be like, all right. Would you mind stepping outside here for a moment, Mr. Lincoln? Because I'm guessing you're handing over driver's licenses and such.
Yeah.
True Strike, do you even have a driver's license?
Fuck no. He's been homeless for like 3 years, man.
Yeah.
That's fine. Only one person needs to hand over their license.
Officially, sure, but these are cops, and it's the 90s. Again, they can do whatever the fuck they want, pretty much.
Yep. There's a lot more liberty for cops in the 1991 than 2025, I have a feeling.
Yeah. No body cameras.
No.
They say jump. Or almost no body cameras. It's 1991, man.
Yeah, no body cams.
Yeah.
That's not a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They
he's
say
gonna
jump,
ask
you
you
say
to
how
walk
high.
in a straight line and start doing the whole "Are you under the influence?" tests on all of you. Which
I mean,
you're going to
That's-
pass because you're not under the influence, but
With how high my character's dexterity and athletics is, he could probably be off his rockers and still do it completely perfectly.
yeah, that's very likely. I think this cop will start searching the Winnebago as his partner is just leaning against the cop car and looking at all of you and asking you to have your hands up against the Winnebago wall. This beat cop is really hoping that you have some illicit substances in there, Stormspeaker. Do you?
No. Although what may attract some attention is the sheer amount of electronic equipment in there.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's not illegal. He can't cite you for that. So it's gonna be a morning when the cop is stealing a lot of your time, and not much more than that. Possibly enough to... Are we getting angry yet? I don't know.
I was gonna roll composure on myself to not
Yeah.
be snarky at this
Because,
call.
yeah, he's definitely trying to nail you for...
He's
intent.
fishing and being a dick.
Oh,
He doesn't
yes.
need to do this at 9 a.m.
It was 8 a.m. when he started. It's gonna be 9 a.m. when he's done.
Exactly.
Because I don't know that it is enough to actually give you a rage point, but that would only happen if he succeeds with an intimidation check, which I doubt he's going to succeed with, because you're all...
But I had wisdom renowned to this composure roll to not piss off the cop.
Do you have a gift that allows you to do that?
No. Let's just try it then.
Oh.
That's fine.
Okay.
One
With that
success is
roll...
enough.
Oh no, it's composure. I would add... Oh yeah, your insight is terrible.
I was gonna say insider etiquette, but they're both nothing.
They're both nothing, yeah. Okay, because that roll went so terribly, I'm gonna say the cop has a little bit of intimidation, because it's a cop, and cops have some of that by training. There we have it! Of course, so here's an option for you. If you feel that your character has been humiliated and tossed around enough for the cop to give you a rage point, you will also take your success, subtract your number of successes on a composure insight check or composure etiquette check from that roll, and that's how many superficial willpower damage you take. So that's the only way I'm going to give you a rage point for this. Nuisance.
I don't really care about the rage. I just don't want to accidentally murder this cop because he's being a dick.
That's going to be fine, though. Yeah, you're not going to accidentally murder this cop. I
Because like,
feel
I'm not,
it's
he's not. Intimidation only really works if you're scared of the other person. When
Yeah.
I know I can just think about him and turn his body into paste, he is not intimidating to me.
That makes sense.
This is more just, okay, I don't need to engage with him on his level. I am better than that.
Yep.
He can be a snarky, angry chihuahua all he wants.
Yep, that's basically it. Meanwhile, in a different part of town, where are we now? my friends. And by my friends, of course, Themis and Skidders. I know where Skidders is. He's with his girlfriend. So, Jake, Miranda, Strospeaker over there. Themis, where are you? You skateboarded away from the others.
As one does, yes.
As one does.
On Fire Racer being a little bit silly right now, but I'll just refresh real quick. I think Themis will... It's still pretty early, so I think she will actually be home with her family. Probably just listening in some tunes early in the day on the... They did have Walkmans back then, right?
Yep. Even CD players.
Oh,
Uh-huh,
yes.
yeah.
Did they have the CD player Walkmans?
Oh, yeah, that was a thing. It was
They- they-
amazing because you could just skip to the song you wanted to listen to immediately.
Yes.
You just needed to
Yes,
memorize
they had one.
the track list and you could just do. There you go. You didn't have to wind the tape backwards and forwards and guess.
Yeah, I used to have
I'm
one.
sorry about
They're
that.
nice.
About the background
Um,
noise.
It was an amazing time. CDs. Though some people, like my dad, said that CDs had a worse sound quality than vinyl, and I think he has been justified in this over the years, given the vinyl aficionados out there. Dad, you
You
were
know,
right.
the sort of format wars that went on around that time. There was this unusual technology. It was a tape recorder type technology, and it was strange looking because it looked exactly like a DAT cassette, but the size of a VHS tape. So it looked like it had been blown up comedically large. And it didn't do well in the format wars, and very few people ever heard what they sounded like. But one guy who did hear them said it was the best he'd ever heard, equivalent to recording studio reel to reel.
Oh. That is something that definitely Strospeaker would keep track of. Themis, we are sitting in your neighborhood, which happens to look very much like the neighborhood that the other three are in, but in a different end of the neighborhood, as it were. And you have your family, there's breakfasting, though I have a feeling that your family... None of your family are your touchstones, right? Or are they? I don't remember.
No,
No,
they're not.
they're not, because I do remember. Why am I saying things like that? Anyway, because you don't have that close connections with your family. I think they're just going to assume that you've been out partying or doing activist stuff with your young friends somewhere, young people, ne'er-do-wells, that sort of thing. That's the explanation for the bleary eyes and very roughed up hair. And luckily there are no bruises on you, or your mom would go, "What is that?"
Yes, Bryce is in fact pristine.
Indeed. And freshly showered, probably, because there's a shower in this place. You can use it.
Indeed.
You can wash off all that. The feeling of having been drenched in Bane blood, probably the cakey sensation, but it doesn't show up in the real world because it's really just in the Umbra. But I'm pretty sure it feels pretty good to get rid of it. So Themis is woken up by the rest of the unless you want to sleep in, of course, because that's the possibility.
Well, gotta eat.
You gotta eat, yeah. Okay, breakfast is on. It's gonna be... Is it a healthy breakfast in this household? I don't even know.
Oh, probably.
Oh,
Not like super healthy, but it's probably some nice bread. No, typical American breakfast. Maybe there's some like Greek charm in there somewhere.
makes sense, yeah. So, pancake breakfast, yay.
Yep.
Skidders, your quarters are much less appealing, but maybe a bit more private and cozy and comfortable in the social sense, because you actually have a close connection to your homeless roomie.
We have a whole He's not like he's off the grid. He's living. He has a house. It's just
Yes.
no. It's not legally his. But
Yeah, nobody else is coming to the abandoned subway station. Yeah. I think Goatee
It's
is
not
gonna
broad
make some kind of breakfast. At some point, you guys got yourself one of those, like, kerosene kitchens for camping kitchens.
yeah.
And she has probably stolen at some point some water bottles from a local bodega, or maybe not so local bodega. She might have. You don't want to shit where you sleep, so she doesn't want to do shoplifting anywhere near to where you guys are actually residing. She probably does it in a different part of town and brings it back. And so she's making, like, it's one of those Knorr instant soups where she has taken a bunch of plastic water bottles and emptied them into the field kitchen and just stirs in the powder into it and makes it a breakfast of champions for y'all. Isn't it sad that they removed the cooking gift from the Bongnor roster?
You know what? I'm just gonna headcanon that it's still around, but so insignificant it doesn't get its own thing. But it is done.
It's just
That
a
makes
cultural
sense.
thing.
Exactly.
It's a cultural thing.
So
Goatee
I guess-
would know that you weren't there early, right?
yeah. Yes.
So she's a little bit curious about what you were doing last night because you weren't here when she went to bed. Is she calling you Skidders or Paul? She's calling you Paulie, right? Because she doesn't know.
Yeah. She.
You're a werewolf.
Yeah. She doesn't know I'm a werewolf, and she might actually.
Who's like Otis, the alias of? Is that like your dog form? People know the dog as Otis.
No, Otis is what he's called on the street.
Oh, so she would call you Otis then?
No, but she knows my actual name as Paul
Okay.
because Otis is his what? Because he's a. It's a stupid nickname
But it's right there. OT and Goatee.
because he breaks in like on second and third floors, so he's like an elevator. He goes up, so he's Otis. So it's a stupid crime name, right?
It's just right there. OT and Goatee. I'm sorry. That's your street names now.
You are not cooking, man. Sorry.
What?
But
You are
she's
not cooking.
she's looking up at you, and she has that gaze when she's so fill in the blanks.
I decided to go in a different direction. What I thought was people who go into changing rooms leave their wallets in there a lot. And do you know who are rich? Doctors. So I went into a hospital doctor change room and I took all the wallets I could find. And I just doubled the bunch of wallets I have.
Cool. So my dog just bled all over me, so that's wonderful.
Take care of the
Hey,
dog, man.
He's fine. She's fine. Ooh. Man, I just had to hit y'all with an El Duende moment.
Clearly, yes. That was very necessary. Anyway. That's not a thing I usually do. Like, my marks tend to be the homes of the not quite super wealthy. Because
Yes.
the super wealthy,
But-
they have too much protection and shit. So it's easier to go for the upper middle class. They can't afford private security in the same way.
I thought maybe some of these doctors would have their keys in, maybe have some keys in with their wallets as well, maybe, and we could go to the houses after that then as well. And even this, we have enough of their, like, we could sell credit cards and sell identification, apply for credit cards in their name, that kind of thing.
That's not a bad idea.
So I was thinking the two of us could go through and see which one like has the highest rank. So maybe they're the person with the most money, so they're the person we should maybe focus on to skim money off in some way.
And did it work out?
Well, I have the wallets now. I need to go through them and see if there's any pigeons there that are ripe for plucking.
Alright. She's pleased enough with this explanation. Of course, you are... Are we technically calling this lying to the lover?
No, because he did go in. He's just say he's lying by omission. He's not saying he bought, but he can't tell her that. So
I'll roll her wits and insight here. Let's see how much she's... Apparently she's not paying attention much at all, after all. Maybe her mind is drifting elsewhere. So you'll definitely have no problem convincing her of that. She's, okay, yeah. Paul Oti is doing all sorts of weird shenanigans and trying this and that and everything, and maybe one day he will actually find the hidden gold at the end of the rainbow. But I think she's at this point just treating it as another rainbow you're pursuing.
And I guess I actually start just as a way to sell the lie. I guess I start going through the wallets and start looking at the IDs to see if there's anyone who comes across as whatever highly ranked or with a lot of money or something like that. We're in New York, so has a Dutch name.
Yeah, exactly. That's a Dutch. That is old family ties for sure. The oldest, as it were. Yeah, that's what you're gonna do for a little while. Should we take a short break here, everyone, before we join our three friends in the Winnebago again to see what they're up to? And we'll be back in 5. We are back. Okay. In Queens, in fact, with no longer a beat cop because he has done his thing and left very grumpily because he didn't find anything to pin on you guys, very sadly. He wanted to so desperately.
Shame.
Yes, very shame. But here we are. It's morning. Now it's 9 a.m. Here we go. Yes. And I guess you are... Maybe you had to drive a couple of blocks just to look like you're complying with whatever traffic ordinance that he... Basically, he treated you like loiterers and homeless people in a nice upper middle class neighborhood with lots of duplexes and even single family homes here and there where they don't want eyesores, let's say. And which is not weird because let's face it, True Strike does look the image, doesn't it? Don't you?
Turns out living in the woods doesn't exactly do great things for your image.
You are in fact destitute, so you look destitute. The Storm Speaker might not look that bad, right? You have resources enough. You just, I guess the whole "we had a bad night," that phrasing was a layout for the cop, honestly, Storm Speaker. Like going, "we were in no condition to drive" is, oh, so you were super high and super drunk and had taken all the drugs. Let's see where we can find them. And then he didn't find any, sadly for him. So what are we doing now, folks?
I think we just need to be at like the greasiest of greasy spoon diners. Maybe something like has a really odd combination of New York foods, like deli food but on a pizza. Because after a night like that, pizza is an acceptable breakfast.
Yes, it is.
After a night like that, pizza's an acceptable drink.
Pretty much.
Red is just gonna be... She's also gonna have a very greasy breakfast, but she's gonna have one section of the counter, or one section of the booth, where she's just like corralling all of the greasy food away as she looks over the paperwork.
Yeah, the
To see what's
paperwork.
To see what was actually said. Like, she's planning on passing that on to the others in the tribe. But it's very much, this may have relevance to stuff that they already were interested in. Like, she doubts it's connected, but...
There's something there for sure.
Oh, there's paperwork.
Yeah, there's paperwork. This is an example of a letter there. There's going to be more than one document similar to this. While you are reading it.
Huh.
Who's GD? In our research of the facility, was there any people we came across with those initials?
Nope. There are some notes in the margin by someone with a ballpoint pen has made some notes here and there, like that. And like that.
Okay.
There's also some patient notes in here.
If it's in ballpoint pen, is it possible to match it up with any of the other notes the doctor wrote to see whether she wrote these, like, editions?
Do you have a handwriting sample that you know is from Dr. Hume?
Don't we have... Oh, this is all... So this paperwork...
It's from her safe in her room. This is the stuff that Skidders put in his pockets and ran away with.
Yeah. But none of it's handwritten.
The patient journals are not handwritten. But they're typewritten rather. No, I think they're actually coming from they're coming from the computer system. Because it's 1991 and computers are very safe.
Yeah. It's just because in the document it says all sensitive files that are remained hard copy format only. No electronic duplication is authorized.
Yeah. Dr. Hume may or may not have followed that because it's 1991 and computers are very safe.
Yep. What do the rest of you think of all this? She's gonna pass the documents around as long as people wipe their hands of grease first.
But one thing is, by the looks of this, we're now on an extreme clock. And because I don't like the sound of this containment fallback, including neutralization of compromised records, staff, and subjects as necessary. And we've sure as hell made the operating environment become unstable.
Yes. I think maybe I doubt most normal staff would be willing to kill other staff members. And I think we did get the Femoris. They probably would have been the ones dealing with that. So as long as we get our people to draw attention to this quick, they won't be able to cover it up.
There's also this Facility 9, whatever that is, that we could really do with finding. But there's another opportunity to present itself here. There's a lot of psychological terminology here, measurable compliance metrics, emotionally resolved, internal variance, and these terms that they especially don't want to get out. Experimental treatments, non-verbal recall protocols, deep pattern induction. What we could do is that woman who we were trying to find before, who'd been criticizing guy from this place. If we can find her, we could show her the documents and see if she can shed any more light over what's going on.
Yeah, if we make
Also,
copies. Oh yeah.
Some patient files in there. The ones that were printed.
That's not good.
You're thinking about all of that. Let's have a look back at our friends in other parts of town. In this case, of course, Skidders and Themis, also known as Paul and Bryce. What are we doing after breakfast, folks?
I'm going to actually look through my massive IDs and see if I can identify who's the head of a department or who was the second in charge. I know that the head in charge is dead, but so I'm just looking for who the next person in the line would be.
How many wallets would you have gotten away with?
I don't know. It's up to you. I said I was taking every single one, so...
I don't know that you would have had access to grabbing every single one.
Okay, so just like the highest rank of D can I determine, like, obviously, of the doctors here, not every one of them was in the know, but I'm just trying to identify out of the wallets I have, would somebody be in a high ranking position? You can say
Nah,
no.
apparently
You can say
not.
You don't have. Okay.
I guess, what could be in the wallet to indicate their professional status?
I don't know. Just like an ID.
Yeah, but occupation doesn't usually turn up on the ID. It's ID. It's going to be like the typical driver's license will keep someone's address on it, but not their occupation.
Their medical staff, it may have a area code, like for different departments in the building, but that's probably about it.
A security card, a pass card that they need to get through internal security locks, but I don't think they're going to keep that in the wallet. They're going to keep that.
Yeah, they wouldn't. They'd have that.
They'd
on
keep
them.
that on a lanyard or something on them.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Is there any wallet there that like I can identify is from a doctor?
That would be Dr. Hume, basically, because
Just-
she was
just
dead
stop.
and you could grab everything from her.
But none of the wallets I took from the thing, I can't look through them and say,
You
oh,
were
that's a
in your
doctor.
locker room, and I don't
Yeah.
think some people were If I am a staff at a rehab institute, I keep my wallet on me, not in the locker room. That's where I keep my coat and things like that, and
Random bullshit.
not even
Okay, fair enough.
that, because it's May, so they're gonna have light jackets and such, maybe.
Fair enough. It's it. So I guess.
That'd
can I
be a
do
meager
instead?
haul, is what I'm saying. It's
Okay.
the night
I'm
staff
going-
obviously has a bit more.
I'm going to
clothes.
try to nudge the police, I guess. I'm going to go to a phone booth near me and ring the station that's closest to the institute and ask for the officer looking into the deaths there.
Like the police station.
Yeah.
Interesting. I suppose you would possibly be able to get something out of that. Let's see. Are we doing investigation here? But this time it's actually charisma investigation. That's what we're doing, isn't it?
I'm ringing them up saying I have information so I can make sure that. they're
Oh,
actually-
you have information. You're a tip lining. Okay, so yes,
Yeah.
you're calling. Okay, that's fine.
saying,
Going to be
saying that I want to talk to the guy in charge of looking into those deaths because I have critical information
very well.
or something like that.
You're gonna be directed to a detective in charge. It wasn't even a break-in. What do the detectives have? It's
Mysterious
someone, a desk sergeant, is gonna answer at the other end and say precinct number and however the police is organized in New York City. I don't really know off the top of my head really how it's realistically done in 1991, but that's beside the point. The precinct desk sergeant who takes these kinds of calls, or maybe it's a rookie who is taking calls and putting them down into the ledger because they get all sorts of tips. So yes, New York Police Department, precinct 24. What can I do for you this morning?
Look, what's the doctor's name again?
Dr. Hume.
Yeah, I have critical information about Dr. Hume's death. You need to look for Digitalis. She was poisoned by Aegis Security. You need to look into them, and you need to check the basement. She was in deep with Aegis. I can't talk very much. They're watching me. They're watching you. Be on the lookout and hang up.
Sir? Yeah, you're not going to hear that sir part because you hang up. Okay, you have left a tip. Who knows? Maybe a local officer will, in fact, or the detective in question will, in fact, come and follow up on this at the Institute. Themis, what are we planning to do after having had this breakfast?
That's the question.
Oh, thank God, it's just an ant.
I think the first thing that comes to mind is that she's gonna be curious if the place is still operational after that. Yeah, she might take the subway, stroll past with the skateboard, take a look.
That makes sense. Yeah, take the skateboard, go past, check things out, do what's happening outside the Institute. The Institute is, of course, a very prestigious and upstanding place, isn't it? All the best people only, yes. Etc. Look, here it is again, the Institute. But this time it's only you, so nobody else is here right now. What are you gonna see outside? You're gonna see a sign on the door saying that no visitors allowed today because of staff training day. And yeah, that's basically gonna be it. Sorry for the inconvenience. Yeah. There would probably be looking in there, you can't see anyone in the foyer, obviously. There's nobody sitting out there in the waiting room, but I'm thinking there's someone sitting behind the desk of the reception area there, because of course that's where they have the phone line that goes outside to answer inquiries and whatnot. So apparently there is someone there, but otherwise you don't see any activity right now.
Can you do the thing where you look into the Umbra and just see that if it's just like 200 ablifats in the car park?
You say that, but I don't have that power, sadly.
Unfortunately.
Well, in that case, Bryce is gonna stroll on by.
This is a Thursday, a regular Thursday, the 30th of May, 1991. What would Themis do on a regular Thursday? Do you have any job to go to?
No.
You're just
Got it. Bum alert! Bum alert!
Like, I'm early adulthood living with my parents.
Yep. And they're gonna be like,
alert!
they're gonna be like, when are you gonna get yourself a job?
I think maybe in the...
Bryce's one weakness, a job application.
Yeah, it might be too early for her to meet with her friend from school she used to go to, so... Unless that friend is sneaking out. And which Bryce will totally convince her to do. Yeah, Bryce is gonna stop by the school of her touchstone. Amanda.
Very well. We are going away from Institute and towards the other places in life, as it were. I guess that means that Themis... Where is that? Okay, it's somewhere in town. Your friend's place. We're talking Marcus, right?
No, it's Amanda.
Oh, yeah, Amanda. Sorry. Duh. I knew that. I knew it was Amanda all along. I pay attention to everything.
Indeed.
Yeah. Don't you believe anything else?
We have a WGM.
Yes. Yeah. Anyway, Amanda is happy to see you, probably. Yeah. Oh, hi, Bryce. How are you? She's in her
No,
dorm
it
this
is what it
morning.
is. The whole what you're studying now again? History? I forget.
She is studying. Oh, I didn't put the note down. Why didn't I do that? Or maybe I did, and it just got erased because
Maybe
Foundry is...
Bryce being a bad friend and not remembering is canon.
Could be.
I haven't told you that what she's studying. This is just me like riffing.
Okay, fair enough.
Oh no, I think I have it.
Yeah, what might she be studying? Very important question. It will turn the entire narrative. Everything turns on this.
No, it's not history. No, it's law. Your family wanted to be a lawyer. Or did you change your mind?
I'm gonna look at her dots here and say no, it is not law. 'Cause
I can't remember now because there was somebody from the vampire game, wasn't there?
yeah.
Somebody's daughter who was a student. Was it she a journalism student? I can't remember. They kind of blurring together in my mind.
Wasn't that Jan's character before he got his head blown smooth off?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Technically, he got a lot of white phosphorus
Incinerated.
all over himself and burned to death. But yeah, she's doing social sciences with a major in psychology. There we go.
Of course, she is. Perfect.
She's like, oh, psych major, man. Dude, girl.
I keep getting these mixed up.
When are you gonna go to
And
college?
you know how I fared in school.
Do you need help? I can help you with your studies if you ever were to apply and get in somewhere. I think you should. These days, you need a BA at least to get a job, if you want a good job, unless you want to stay flipping burgers the rest of your life. That's what my mom said.
Yeah, your mom is stupid, Amanda. Anyways, you were studying psychology, right?
Yes.
You're gonna work here then?
Yes.
Like, in the Big Apple, you wanna work here?
Yeah, I guess. If I can't get a job here, I'll get it somewhere else, but there's plenty of opportunities. This is the Big Apple. There's lots of opportunities around here.
Here, everybody needs therapy.
Yes! You know what? Maybe she's gonna use her powers of observation on you, Bryce.
She's gonna Whitson inside character back? Sure. Let's go.
Yes! Yes, she is.
Oh,
Maybe
what?
this is where Bryce learned this from, funny enough. That would be very funny.
It's just 2 successes. But she is... Let me test one of the recent theories that I have just studied on you. Let's see what kind of personality type you are. And she's going to bring out one of her psych books and just flip it open on her dorm
Ooh.
bed and go over a bunch of Jungian archetypes or something like that.
So is this like astrology, Amanda, or?
No, this is science. Gee, astrology isn't real. This stuff is real.
It's a little bit funny though. Like, one day, oh yeah, I'm a Sagittarius and I love adventure and you never trust a Pisces or whatever they say.
You're really not taking this seriously. I'm trying to study here for an exam.
Fine, I'll hear you out. Okay, how does this work?
If Themis wants to lose a rage point, that would be allowed. Same goes for Skidders, really, but I don't think you want to because you would lose you.
I think she isn't going to, but like she's enjoying her time with Amanda, even if it's a mean joke back and forth.
Switching the scene back to our friends in the Winnebago, and that was... Okay, that was a Spaceballs reference, but never mind. You're not in the Winnebago at the moment. You're in fact in the Greasy Spoon Diner, but you have been there for a while checking out the document. You are gonna have... I remember this one time how old was I? In my 20s. I visited my sister who was attending dance school in New York. And she showed me to a Greasy Spoon Diner in Brooklyn to just fatten me up. And I think I didn't need to eat anything more the entire day. There was so much fat in that breakfast. So you're gonna feel the energy you get from just
couldn't handle it.
all the fats in the breakfast. It's just first you're gonna get food coma, and then you're gonna have that tingling feeling in your fingers, I guess. I don't know.
You will feel like you're dying after...
If you do it often enough, yes. But just once, it isn't too bad. It was an American experience.
Fair. Makes sense.
Yeah.
We've got this information. Can we try and do... Because Miranda does have a computer, like a laptop. It's not... It's fancy for the time, but it's not incredible. She just wants to try and look up some of the patient records. Not like the patient names we've got from the documents. It's more looking up Malia W.
Say again? Yeah, Malia W, yep.
Yep. Just trying to find out any information that she can about her, because it said something about... in the margin note, watch for reactivation in public setting.
It sounds like some like crazy ass mind control shit.
Yeah, so I'm thinking maybe if we can find her, because the first patient got taken away to Facility 9, which we don't have any information of. The last one is possibly dead, and we have no real follow-up for that guy either. But for her, it said something about placed in... referred to Dr. Hume after foster parent complaint. And
There's also
since it
Dr.
says
Stenson
released to
mentioned.
original placement. So maybe in the other documents they may have... maybe one of the other documents is the referral of hers. So we might be able to track down where she is. Because if we can find her, we may be able to figure out what they've done to these people.
And also, those children we accidentally rescued, were they escapees from this place, or were they from somewhere else?
No idea. You learned their names, at least how they presented themselves to you, and it was Charlie, Linda, and Tony.
The kids wouldn't have had a reason to lie. Not about their names, at least.
The problem with using the internet for this type of investigation in 1991 is that there's just too little stuff on the internet to be very effective with tracking stuff down. Patient records are definitely not going to be online for all sorts of reasons.
Well,
There might be internets on various hospitals, and even that is going to be sparse in 1991.
Universities just to follow up, like, just saying whether we got lucky and the transfer records was one of the documents that got grabbed. Like the referred to Dr. Hume after foster parent complaint, like that may have been part of her file.
Dr. Hume was the boss, so the refer to that was to the...
Yeah, I'm just saying maybe the complaint that the foster parents made is part of her file.
All right, so Jake will say to Miranda, wait a minute, Optinode, didn't he look through the computer? Didn't he, like, help you find something there, or am I wrong?
Storyteller question.
Storytelling question. Optinode will say, my brief perusal of... You're going to see the signs on the display screen, obviously, because you're not going to hear Optinode's voice in this place until you get a loudspeaker connected, and then it's going to be this lovely...
Definitely never going to do that.
What? Why not?
It looks just like an AOL chat box right now.
Yeah. My brief perusal of the internal network systems of the Morningside Rehabilitation Institute was focused strongly on the internal surveillance of the Institute for immediate emergency reasons.
Yes, but he was in the doctor's computer, specifically.
Yes, Optinode was.
And he was looking for information at that time. Like, later he was focused on the security, but at that time he was helping Skidders gather information about the situation from the doctor's computer. Personal computer, at least.
True. That is probably the only electronic information you'd have from this place, because that was basically what you had time to do. And Optinode is a smart one. Why has it changed the technology rating to a 4? That's weird. It shouldn't be a 4. It should be like more than that, like a 9.
Maybe because I may have changed it to factor in the intelligence.
Yeah, but the skill rating is like the total, so it's the attribute plus 3, basically. So also, it's not going to have 555 for physical, social, and mental. It's going to have like low physical.
No, I imagine it's going to have 0 physical.
Yeah, and
maybe
a little bit of social.
Very low social and high mental.
Oh, yeah, exactly. So anyway, sorry about that little tangent there. Okay. Optinode is, if a computer spirit could clear its throat, Optinode would. System security layers, Surface operating system, standard clinic interface running on Windows 3.0, detected obfuscated pathways to restricted partitions, noted digital watchdog script, noted encrypted correspondence, noted a hidden folder titled Recurrence Watch, containing names and discharge records of troublemaking patients, a custom neurofeedback program, still in development, and a hexadecimal trail of timestamps related to classified experiments. Surmising experiments were conducted in the basement.
So we got everything.
Wait, do we actually have these files, or is it just we've got the index? We know they exist.
Yeah, you know the index, exactly.
So that's unhelpful.
What? That's very helpful.
How?
More about the activity they were doing there? More details? I don't know.
We don't have details, we have headlines.
Leave another note on the detective's windscreen. Look in the computer.
Thanks for the help there, Optinode.
You're
You have a
very
suggestion?
welcome. Exclamation point, exclamation point.
You have any suggestions on what to do next, boss?
Did I get a response about whether the document I was looking for was in the stack?
Oh, what was the document you were looking for? See, I pay attention to everything.
The patient referral to the doctor. Was that
yes.
part of her file?
The files have continuous references to referrals, and there's going to be a patient record system there, definitely. So all the official patient records are going to be were accessible through Dr. Hume's terminal. So Optinode would be able to... Here's a question. As a Weaver spirit, does Optinode have a memory like a computer? In other words, could Optinode copy the entire intranet's information database in the time it took for Skidders to do the things that Skidders was doing?
They have memories. Some of them are hundreds or thousands of years old, so...
Yeah,
Octanote
I mean,
is
they
a
have
very-
intelligence, so...
Yeah, and
I guess
Octanote is
you-
a pretty powerful spirit too. So
It is.
I don't. Yeah. So
Why don't I roll a technology check for Optinode?
don't fuck it up.
See how much Optinode actually had time to copy.
That's a
Nice.
That is not a messed up roll, is it?
Octanote, our goat.
And because we are outside the Umbra, we can even do more with some willpower. Optinote is taking one for the team, y'all. 8
He
successes.
crits again.
Yeah, that's going to be a complete copy of everything. So, patient records and so on and so forth. You will notice, of course, as you're looking through this, that there is a discrepancy between, shall we say, there's a folder, the way the directory has been organized. There is the official part of the Rehabilitation Institute and the, shall we say, more clandestine part. That's not going to be surprising to you, I'm sure. So if anyone from the outside the Institute will check and asking for patient records or referrals and so on and so forth, they're going to get one set of patient records, including the medical regime, because obviously it's a psychiatric institute, so there's going to be antidepressants and other medicines involved, all sorts of stuff like that, and a series of diagnoses that will probably look considerably less alarming. Let's see now. We need intelligence medicine here, don't we? Because it's psychiatry to understand what is really in these files. Unfortunately, none of you have medicine, do you?
I've got an idea about this.
Some
I
XP
do,
is
but
gonna
I'm
go
not
into-
here.
some
You can
XP is
take
gonna-
all of this to the Dark Runners pack because they specialize in psychology. So they can look at it all and know a lot more about it. You know, maybe know some of the names of the medical personnel, know what some of the technical psychiatric terms mean. I've already met them before in Central Park, so we can go see them again.
Yeah, that seems like a good place to start. Maybe if we go to the Sept of the Green? Is that what you're talking about? Like we go to the Sept of the Green and find the Dark Runners?
Yeah.
Sounds good.
In that case, I guess on the way over, we make... I guess Miranda copies what documents she's Optinode managed to copy
Yeah.
onto a floppy disk or whatever's similar, just so
Yep.
she can give a copy to the Glasswalkers, because they would be interested in all of this.
Yeah.
Specifically as on the Pentex front and what like Facility 9 is or anything else.
So, we're gonna go back into the Central Park cairn. It's our favorite place to
I
be.
guess I'll
You
try
know-
to get in contact with the others to try and get us all to rendezvous at the same spot.
That makes sense.
Yep. Considering that you can't really hack a floppy disk, I have to imagine that werewolves, even like in modern day, still use them probably.
You can hack probably this the old-fashioned
you
way,
can.
by stealing it.
I can tell
You
you
can't-
that modern day Delta Green, for those of you who know that game, have definitely left all electronics behind because phones and everything can be listened to. So they've reverted to typewriters and stuff.
Yeah,
It's a
the
lot
pit-
easier. It's a lot harder to corrupt
Yep,
a typewriter than it is anything else.
that is
Yeah, with
absolutely
pen
true.
and paper, you can't get an Indian guy from a completely different continent to type some shit on a computer and just know everything.
That is correct. So, at about noon today, who is listening to the new... this is your New York local radio station tuning in for your noon show. I don't know why I got there at this point. But, yeah, we're going to be back at the Central Park cairn. And you wanted to talk to Flash, I guess? He's the, the Glasswalker liaison with the Sept.
Yeah.
And Hundo, of course, is very often hanging out here in the brambles of Central Park, and he's gonna be there by one of the campfires. I'm guessing at least some of you all will have watched your John Wick series and seen how the homeless function as their own little network of information and that. I can imagine the Bongnors doing that sort of thing. They have their own little places, their own hideaways,
Who
and their
needs
own...
movies when I have food history channels that actually tell me weird things about exactly this?
So, yeah, there's going to be a small campfire hidden away with tarp and everything. Apparently the cops don't go here very often because glasswalkers and Bongnors will have enough influence over the local beat cops and whatnot to make sure they don't disturb the Sept. Hundo is there. He's greeting your Sept friends, his Sept friends here. Hey, Skidders, Themis, True Strike, Stormspeaker, Weavewalker, have a seat by the fire. I have just a lunch lined up for you. How about... Yeah, he's gonna... What is a good Bongnor lunch? He has scrounged things from the local waste bins. Hardly any flies at all.
Thank you.
I'm good.
He's a bit wall-eyed, so one eye is poking way in one direction and the other one is going the other. What can I do for you on this nice day?
Why? Miranda wants to talk to Flash. So if you guys wanted to discuss what happened with your contacts.
Yeah, there's gonna be... If Flash isn't personally available here, you can definitely reach him by cell phone because
fair enough.
He is a glass
Well,
worker.
it's
He
more
will have
like I
all
need
the-
to physically hand over the floppy disk to someone.
Yeah, eventually that's gonna be. We don't have to. But yeah, Flash is gonna be on the other end of that conversation, and he's gonna swing by the Sept, I guess, if you need him to. So yeah, Weavewalker, what's up with this Flash? This drive, not the Flash, the disc. Okay, flop.
Yeah,
what,
it's
this
possible,
floppy. That's what it is.
Yes. We recovered this from a corrupted medical center in the city, outside the city. And wait, what? It wasn't Queens.
What's Queens?
I-
Yeah.
It's just outside the city,
Yeah.
but nearby. They were connected to Pentex security, and they had their own internal purge protocols, including killing people, their own staff.
Wow.
Managed to pull everything I could.
You shouldn't be surprised if it's Pentex, right?
Yeah, but they were dealing with kids.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh. Fuckers. Okay.
We had to kill, the pack and I killed 3 for Mori. One of them was running the operation.
Good for you.
Yeah, here's the information I was able to pull off their computer,
Uh-huh.
and basically just run with it. It mentions possibly another site. There's always another site with these guys, but another site with people in there.
I recall that you wanted the Glasswalkers to check out something else before this story started. It was about
That was a
Pentex
while ago.
connections. Yeah, that was a while ago. But it was like the records and so on. Let's see. Flash has been on various cases, and I think others have been too. That was not the best role I've ever done for anyone. But that doesn't mean that he will give up.
Nice job, Flash. What the fuck have you been doing this entire, 6 months?
Hey, it's fine. It was a request from a fresh-faced new pack member. He didn't need to take it seriously.
He tried to take it seriously. He didn't get very far, apparently.
Finger up ass here, man.
I'm assuming that you're not talking to him like that directly.
No.
But he is, he's sorry I
That was
couldn't
me, the
find.
player
I've been
thing.
so busy with a bunch of stuff that my little Larissa wanted me to do. Truth of the matter is, even bone gnawers need cash every once in a while. Okay, so that's
Hey, no, I get it. Look, I know we're fighting 100 different fronts. This
Yeah.
is...
yeah, pretty much. If you only knew, he said, sighing deeply.
Yeah. You deal with Wall Street, we'll deal with the Umbra.
Yep.
Let's see who dies first.
I think Wall Street has its parts in the Umbra that are intense, let's just say. But yeah.
They've also got to deal with the wizards, the money mages.
But luckily, I'm not the Theurge, so I don't have to deal with that part.
Is there a market spirit?
There has to be somewhere.
Yes.
I think
Probably
I
there's
think
a million
in,
different market stole spirits.
I think there was back in what was it, 2nd edition Werewolf, that it wasn't called patron spirits back then. It was called something else, but one of them was the Almighty Dollar, and that was definitely a Glasswalker thing.
Yeah, the stock market at this point has to be like a pretty big spirit at this point, like gargantuan.
If you go to Wall Street in the Umbra, it probably looks like a Bolshevik poster of the spirit of capital, and it's like a golden idol or something.
Yeah, and I have to imagine, be extremely powerful and massive in terms of
There's
presence.
probably like a spirit for every different currency on the planet, like individually.
There might be, yeah.
Yeah, but I have to imagine that currencies like the American dollar are a lot more powerful.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, I remember distinctly that there was an Almighty Dollar, like Incarna spirit somewhere in one of the source books that you could literally have as your pack patron.
A money spirit.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's look.
God, I love
understand
Werewolf.
we're fighting everywhere, and there were kids here. Man, they were doing psychological experiments, possibly trying to infest them with Banes.
Holy
Possibly
shit.
something else.
Huh. Good thing you were around there, right?
Yeah, but it's not over.
Is it ever? I'll do
Just
that.
pass this along to the rest of the clan.
Absolutely.
Clan?
Pack.
Clan, is there something you want to tell me?
Tribe. Anyway.
Tribe.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll have a word with them.
Tribe and clan are synonyms.
Yeah, they very much are.
Like, we're a pack. The 5 of us are a pack. The tribe and clan are the synonyms of each other.
Yep. The man you want is probably
Yeah, sure. What are your thoughts on Kane, by the way?
Cleon Winston, of
Completely
course.
unrelated.
Yeah, who is
But I'm like, even though I've got a lot of renown, I don't think I'm nearly respected enough in the city to be able to get an audience or ask for their time. So,
Anyway, what does Stormspeaker and the rest want to do with Hundo as we're hanging out here in the Sept, if anything?
The Stormspeaker wants to talk to the Dark Runners pack, so Shadowpad, Neon Seer, Ratbait, Hacktalon.
Yeah, Hundo
They're
will,
arrange to meet up with them later if they're not around.
will be able to say that they've actually been inspired by you guys. Yeah. You did really good with the whole Valkenburg thing. They found someone, lost one, here in the city, and they got that guy over to the Foundation.
The Quest Impact turned into a franchise.
The Foundation does not have a franchise operating in New York City. But that means that the Dark Runner pack had to be 60 hours in a Winnebago. Much like yourself.
Ah, the cat.
Yeah.
Poor bastards.
My friends, it is seeming that Whispers in the Ward, which I have been calling this little arc here, is nearing its completion, and we're going to go into some kind of downtime. I'm not saying that this particular storyline is over, as Andrew has truly, Weave Walkers, pointed out. There are more threads to pull on here. There is more to discover for the Hail Walkers. Question is, this is going to be a vote for the players in the pack, exactly how we're going to organize that. But first, I wanted to give you the XP and give you a chance to spend the XP. And you'll have to decide if we're going to do that on screen or off screen. Because, yeah. Because if we're doing it off screen, we can go raid someone else and then do the thing. What do you think?
I'm good either way.
Yeah. It may just be a lot of quietly looking over sheets, so maybe raiding someone.
Yeah, that makes sense. Let's do it!
Yeah.
Here we go. Okay. They are playing Masks of Nyarlathotep on a channel. I think they need some more audience, don't they? And for the rest of you all, thank you so much for tuning in. Next week, the World of Darkness stories will continue. Because we're not done with any campaign yet, are we? Thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you later. Raids!